Hello, wonderful, beautiful, fantastic people. Happy Friday, or at least it's Friday in this part of the time-space continuum. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I hope it's on a weekend, somewhere in the weekend continuum. Hi there. All right. Well, you may ask yourself, how does a list author like myself spend his weekends? Well, usually it's pretty sad and pathetic. It involves a lot of tabletop role-playing games and cleaning, crap like that. But tonight, I get to go to a paranormal circus, and I am really excited for this. I don't know what I'm going to expect. Some very dear friends of mine went last night. They had a freaking blast, and I had an opportunity to go tonight, and I'm going. So hopefully it'll be fun. I'll regale you with tales of it. All right. Well, this is going to be a little bit of a potpourri, like in Jeopardy, the potpourri category. A little bit of everything. Um, I wanted to urge you, if you are into writing and you are curious about like writing for movies or scripts for television shows or things like that, to check out a chap by the name of Mauler on YouTube. Um, I have followed him for a while, but I really got a chance to kind of dig into some of his videos lately, and he kind of made his claim to fame reviewing The Last Jedi. And the way he does it is it's very. I mean, I watched a video of his, which was a 5 hour review critique of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and it was excellent. He goes through literally scene by scene. He also has another channel called EFAP, which is every frame a pause. It doesn't mean the other thing that EFAP might mean. At least as far as I know, it doesn't. But YouTube is a weird place. Um, anyways, EFAP is him and a bunch of his buddies basically doing the same thing he does in his extended videos that he does himself, which is pick a movie apart. And I mean, by picking apart, I mean by go through scene by scene, questioning the internal logic, questioning why is this way? Why isn't it this way? Doesn't it make more sense that it would be this way? He tries to be fairly dispassionate, and it's fascinating and it's refreshing, and they are long, so you have to kind of commit a little time to it. Or what I usually do is I listen to one of his videos over several days, just a little bit of it at a time. But well worth your time. His name is Mauler, so I uh, hope you'll check him out. I think you will be very satisfied because he really does kind of shine a light on a lot of the current issues with a lot of writing in Hollywood. Um, and it's I have a great deal of trouble, arguing with a lot of his conclusions. I actually agree with a lot of them. So, anyways, check him out. Now, the other thing I wanted to do is a little house cleaning, a little setting of the table. Um, I'm going to try to get at least a couple videos out next week with the holidays, but with Thanksgiving and everything, going to do my best. No promises, but I've been on a kind of a roll, and I'm going to kind of try to keep doing that because I missed you guys a lot, and I've missed doing this, and this is a lot of fun. It really, really is. So, anyways, so hopefully get a few videos out next week. Next weekend, I've got my kids' godparents coming in, Dave and Susie, who are two of the finest human beings on this planet. They are wonderful people, and they're going to be staying here for a few days. And I'll be sleeping on this couch, this couch right back here that my daughter and I purchased at the Goodwill for like $15. and it is the comfiest couch that has ever been made. So I let them crash in my room when they come, and I just crash on the couch. So every writer, there's a good writing tip. Every writer should have a couch nearby their computer, but not too close. Not too close, or else you'll just sleep all day. So you have to be able to like crawl to it though, eventually. Twitter. Hands up if you're sick of hearing about effing Twitter. But I've heard a lot the last few days, last few weeks, last few months about this, and I wanted to throw in a little something, and I did want to try to make it relevant to writing for a living. The only reason I ever got on Twitter or any of the other social media, Facebook, any of that stuff, was my agent, the literary goddess, Lucianne Diver, who I've had on my Patreon, and hopefully I can get onto this channel at some point in the near future. Lucianne strongly suggested all of her writers jump on social media and have a presence there. And it's good advice. At the time, I was doing most of my work through Tor Macmillan, who had their own marketing department and worked with some amazing people. Patty Garcia was the head of the marketing department, and Patty was fantastic. I love Patty. I think she has moved on from that since, but most of the folks I think I worked with have moved on. But I got to work with some really, really great people, and they really helped me immensely, especially since I was really new at the whole thing. I'd never had a marketing person before. And the big publishers and a lot of the smaller publishers will try to market you as much as they can. But a lot of it's going to come down to you personally. And that's where social media jumps in. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter because my opinion of Twitter for most of the time that I've been a member of it is Twitter's a sewer. It's full of people who just pretty much spend their days trying to pick a fight with somebody. And that got tired for me in my 20s. That got old pretty fast. I didn't learn until my 30s, but if you really want to pick a fight and you want to do it like, analog, just go find yourself a nice dive bar and, well, you can figure it out. But Twitter is very useful as a kind of a hit and run place. I jump on there. I post information about my books, my Patreon, whatever news I've got. My route is usually my Facebook pages, my personal page, my writers, authors page, Twitter, and then usually Patreon and my Discord. Okay. So I do recommend you set yourself up. There's so many other places now. There's Rumble, and I can't even keep track of all of them. Mastodon. I heard Mastodon's an interesting one. There's a lot of places that are popping up because when you're dealing with people, it's just like a conversation at a party. You're in a corner talking to somebody about something, and some asshole comes over and starts talking a lot of crap you really don't want to listen to. You go find another corner. Same thing with social media. I personally have always been, as long as I can remember, a big proponent of let the asshole talk. I don't care if they're Nazis. I don't care. Well, I probably shouldn't say Nazis. I think they'll get demonetized. Oh, well. Yahtzees. It can be Yahtzees. I don't care. There's, if it's stupid and it's ugly and it's hateful, you can walk away from it. And I personally believe everybody's voice should be heard, even idiots, even hateful, bigoted, ugly, narrow-minded idiots have the right to flap their gums. So let them. And a lot of times, but the problem is that there's so many people, and I was this person for decades. Ask my ex-wife, ask my kids. I Oh, I was in for the fight, man. I was not gonna back down until I convinced that asshole they were an asshole and they were wrong. So I wasted a lot of time I could have been writing. So, and the folks who are like jumping off Twitter and whatever, absolutely, do that if you really feel that strongly about it. I have a theory about that too. I honestly think social media is designed to give you like a little serotonin boost every time somebody likes your post or responds to it. Even if the response is negative, you're still getting like a little thrill from that. I think a lot of these folks are going to be like, I'm leaving Twitter, I'm gone. And then in a week or two, they'll be back. I was going to stay off Twitter, but I saw this and I just had to say something about it. I just think that's the case. And, I, and as far as like Elon Musk goes, if you really think he's the first megalomaniacal billionaire to buy a platform, you precious little flower, you sweet thing. Um, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post and he owns Twitch. You think that he doesn't play around with those mediums and kind of aims them the way he wants them to? Of course he does. Every newspaper, every news station, every corporation is owned by some rich weirdo. And they are all going to have their own agendas. And I don't trust any of them. I'm trying really hard not to cuss. I usually just let it rip, but um I apparently someone told me that's really bad, that it'll affect your channel analytics or whatever. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care. Um Fucking weirdos. They're all owned by some weirdos. And if you honestly think that these folks don't all have an agenda and none of it has anything to do with making your life better or making the world a better place, that's just bullshit. It just is. They're about making money. They're about aggrandizing themselves. They're about pushing whatever agenda is in their pointy little heads. And that's just how the world works. It was that way with newspapers. It was that way with serfdom. You know, um, there wasn't a Democratic committee that figured out how they were going to organize and write the King James Bible. That was King James and his boys, and the church, the clergy. That's always been that way. People who can try to control conduits of information, and that is why I'm a huge believer in knocking the dams down, knocking those down, and just letting it all flow out. Information wants to be free. I know it's an old hacker cliche, but I really believe that. And so I'm not all bunged up about what's going on with Twitter. As a writer, I'm going to continue to post on there. If these other media sites start to pick up some traction, I'll put up something on there too. Um, I would be lying if I say I'm on here on YouTube without the motive of wanting to get people familiar with my work, maybe buy my books, support the books and stuff I'm going to do in the future. I want that. I mean, that's why I'm here. But I'm hoping I can also share some stuff with you guys that I've learned along the way that has helped me. Share with you the things I learn daily, because I learn a new freaking lesson every single day, and they're valuable. And there are things that I wish I had known 5 years ago that I found out yesterday. So if I can impart a little something like that to you, and one of the things I want to impart is writers. I was talking to a guy a couple of weeks ago. Went out to dinner with this fella. He's written a book, and he is working on marketing it, trying to kind of get it out there. He has a day job. He has a partner, girlfriend, lovely lady. She really wants to help him with this. And he went to a predatory publisher, and it cost him like $8,000, and he got jacked. shit for it, really. Everything they did, he could have done himself. And he's now trying to market and trying to kind of get out there. And one of the things I told him was social media. Build yourself a community on social media. Now, I'm not saying spam. I'm not saying, go on to like a Reddit group or something, or, and just be like, hey guys, I can't help but notice that this is an urban fantasy Reddit. I happen to have a book that I came out, and here is the link to it. No, don't do that, because they're just gonna be like, asshole, and they're gonna just ignore that. But go spend some time talk. I mean, I have some people I've met on Twitter that are cool, and I like talking to them. One of them has a YouTube channel. I don't think she's currently doing it anymore, but she was doing a YouTube channel about Miami Vice, and I loved Miami Vice. Child of the 80s. Well, actually, late 70s, and then rolled right into the 80s. So, believe it or not, I used to have like black hair and a mullet. So, cautionary tale. Hi, son. I am the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Ooh. But there are nice people on social media, and I've met fans. I've met people. It's so weird to say fans. I've met people who have read my books and liked them a lot. I had somebody comment on one of these videos the other day and said some really nice things about Nightwise and Night Dahlia. And thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to meet people. It blows me away. I mean, it still does. It's like, reading a book or listening to a book is a little piece of your time that you never get back. One of the things I liked about it just kind of brings it around to Mahler again. Mahler was talking about, it might have been Wakanda Forever. He was talking about some movie that he just recently saw, and he was like, I got really mad because it was like, this is like almost 3 hours of my life I won't get back. And I appreciate anyone who spends the time. And I've had so many people, I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying, a lot of people like, I read your books, I read them again, I'm waiting for the next one. When's the next one coming? I read it again. Thank you. That means a whole lot. And you will build a following. If you there's also like so many, there's like writers groups on Facebook, there's writers groups on all social media that you can hook up with. And we might do a thing on just writers groups in general, because they can be really helpful or they can be really harmful. Usually they're a little bit of both. So, beware. But anyways, you will meet cool people. You can make those connections, and then and then maybe as a logic, kind of a natural organic extension of that, they might reach out and read your books, and that's sales. But it's also more than that. It's building a community, because I've had a lot of folks who are like, so and so recommended your book to me, and and I really loved it. So I mean, a lot of times you get word of mouth, and this is how you build your marketing. This is how you get, and this is what I told this fellow the other night. And I might see if I can get him on one of these videos, and we can talk some about his experience, because I think it would be good for people to hear. There are publishers that, if you're driving along, you hear the radio, says, do you want to be a published author? Well, all you have to do is give us thousands of dollars, and we'll do most of the shit that you could do yourself. And I mean, if you don't have the time to do that, and you got the money, knock yourself out. But most of us don't have thousands of dollars laying around to just blow on stuff like that. Not to mention, there's a feeling of self. I mean, this is a great time to be alive as a creative person. If you want to do your own book, you can go out and write it yourself. You can find people who will edit it for you, just as well. Many of them have worked in New York with the big 5 publishers. You can get a pro level editor. I am fortunate. I have one. Her name is Susan Listland, and she is fantastic. She is one of the best editors I have ever worked with. Um, one of the editors I worked with at Tor, I'm going to get a chance to work with again, apparently. More on that coming. Have to hold off on that because I still haven't got the word to pull the trigger yet, but it's coming. But you can reach out and get cover art that's just gorgeous. You can basically completely build your own book, market it, distribute it, and get all the fruits of your labor. Now, that being said, me personally, I strongly advise get yourself an agent because um, basically getting work with a big publisher, they will do a lot of that stuff for you. They have long reach. They can make deals happen. It's worth doing if you can get it done, but you don't have to anymore. There was a time when you had to go in the front door. Um, Usually, you absolutely need an agent. An agent makes all that stuff easier. Um, I know there are people who don't use agents, but I absolutely that is one of the best decisions I ever made in my professional career was to go with Lucienne Diver as my agent. And to this day, she delivers for me. She is my dear friend. She is a talented writer, and she is a damn good agent. And she's worth everything that she gets. She gets 15% of whatever she sells for me, and that's a bargain, an absolute bargain. So I'm getting off the rails a little bit here, but I said it was going to be all over the place. A little potpourri. Um, I do strongly advise you to build yourself some social media. This is nothing new. I'm not touching on anything you probably haven't heard before, but I just want to reiterate it. I would also recommend, because I've had some weirdos. I've had stalkery weirdos in my social media adventures. So I have two accounts. I have my personal account, which I don't, it's been a long time. One of the reasons I kind of split into two accounts was I wanted to keep, like, I don't put up my stupid little Batman memes and whatever the hell else, oh, look at this movie's coming out, I can't wait to see it. Most of what I put up on my author page, my author accounts, is author stuff. Nobody really wants to hear. This is my opinion. If you want to hear what I think about X, Y, or Z, you'll come find me on here. You'll seek out my blog on my website, which is desperately in need of a good scrub and a good update because I need to do a lot of work on that. But what's interesting is I don't think web pages are quite as important as they used to be. I think individual web pages for authors, some of them get some traffic, but I think a lot of folks, I think social media has kind of taken the place of that, and YouTube, things like this, Patreon. I get a lot more traffic through here and Twitter and Facebook than I do to my webpage. But then getting my webpage needs, like I said, a good update. But anyways, I try to make my professional social media professional. And for me, and we can get into this some other time, but that also means if you're an author I like or follow, and I follow a lot of comic book people, I follow a lot of like science fiction fantasy authors. There are some I've stopped following because I don't give a damn what your politics are. I'm not here to listen to your spout and rant and rave about your damn politics. I'm here to hear about your writing, hear about your work. And I know that life and writing are tangled up, and I totally get that. But if you have enough discipline to write a book, you should have enough discipline to separate out, this is me as a writer, this is me as a person. This is me as a political animal, this is me as a professional animal. I don't particularly care to alienate my customer base. I've seen comic artists and writers who are literally like, if you don't like my politics, just don't read my books. And I've seen what that does to them. it doesn't end well. Um, I write, I put myself into my books, my beliefs, my opinions, all of that bleeds into my books. Um, but I don't feel a need to, you know, it's one of the bad things about social media is the whole kind of cult of celebrity. Here I am, I'm talking to hundreds, maybe thousands of people right now, and I'm sitting in a chair in my office in my little house and tucked away in Virginia, and I'm not a celebrity. I've got folks who read my books, and I'm very thankful for that. But I'm not Stephen King, and a lot of times I'm very thankful not to be somebody like that, because you have to like reorder your whole life. You have to. I mean, he must have security. He gets weirdos all that. I just got like a little taste of weirdo, and that was enough. I really don't need any more of that. So that was one of the reasons I separated my social media and kind of did like personal and public, you know. But anyways, so I would advise when you do your social media, now look, you will get engagement. If you're like PT Barnum and you just want to be like, I'm going to say something controversial and I'll have 80,000 people, read my tweet or whatever. Go for it, man. If that's how you want to do it. But I can just say personally, I have stopped reading quite a few authors because of the crap they spewed on social media. I don't like what's going on in their head, and I don't like how they talk to people. So I'm not going to read their shit. And that's sad, because it used to be you could, and folks can still do this. I try to do this. You separate. You can have someone who's like a fantastic writer, a fantastic actor, or whatever, that spews garbage. But if you listen to the garbage, it really does kind of hurt you enjoying their work. So that's one of the reasons I don't do that. I try really hard to be like, I've got my opinion on stuff, and I certainly am not afraid to share it. But when I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to people that I really want to share my work with. And I'm not writing a lot of super political stuff. I will have political things pop up in my books. And King of the Road, I have a scene where one of my characters, who is African American, and she's a cop, and she gets hassled by a bunch of other cops. That shit happens. But that was one scene, and I don't feel like I don't feel like putting that up on a soapbox and making that the focus of my work. And unfortunately, especially comics, oh my god, I love comics so much, but current day comics kind of suck. Me and my buddy David are going to probably do some streams on comics, and we can get a little bit more into that. But I still love comics, and there are gems. I still find stuff to read. Um, I am currently on the Detective Comics run that is brilliant. Oh, here's a perfect example. I'm reading World's Finest, which is Batman Superman, and it's kind of a retro comic. It's telling stories from previous eras in the DC universe with Batman and Superman and their amazing friends. And it's written by Mark Waid, who, when as a kid and growing up as a teen, as a young adult, I loved Mark Waid. I still do. I love a lot of Kingdom Come. He wrote Kingdom Come, which is fucking brilliant. It's amazing. He is a hell of a comic book writer. He's also an asshole. And I have to be honest, as long as he keeps producing good comics. He wrote this one thing a while back. I'm trying to remember what the hell the name of it was, but it was so political and it was crap. And it I think it lasted like 6 issues. He wrote it for some independent company. God, I can't remember the name of it. It was awful, just comically awful. And I think he may have learned his lesson, because the stuff he's been writing recently, he's keeping his damn politics out of it. He's giving me a good story, well written. That's all I need. And as long as I don't listen to him on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, as long as I can read a comic and go, oh, Mark Waid, okay, this might be good. That's the balance you want to hit. I'm not saying if you don't believe in anything, you're just that's useless. You have to believe in things. You need to stand up for the things you believe in. That being said, I also believe that you work a job, you have a customer, you meet that customer where they're at. And if I had a customer who was a total Yahtzee, I would distance myself from them. I would not pal around with them. I would engage them as little as my job required me to. But if they want to be a Yahtzee, that's their thing. That's what America is all about, baby. Is you can have whatever opinion you want and you can voice it, and that's beautiful. It really is. Even if your opinion is just asinine, you still have the right to voice it. God, where did that soapbox come from? Anyways, this has gone off the rail a little bit more than I intended it to. Twitter is not going to like blow up on Monday. It's just not. It's a $44 billion company. And to be honest, I think that probably what Elon Musk is doing is he wants to take the corpse of Twitter and turn it into something else. Maybe something to compete with TikTok, maybe something to compete with YouTube. I don't know. But what I do know is that I can use that platform to reach people with my work. And I intend to keep doing that. And I advise you to do the same. And if you really have an ideological, ethical, philosophical disagreement with that company, and I know there are people who are like, I don't buy this stuff anymore because of the company that makes it. And I'm you know what? I totally get that. I respect you for that decision and understand why many people walk away from several companies. Apple, Disney, Nike. I totally get that. That being said, I think that it's kind of important to also maximize your reach with trying to get your name out there, trying to get your work out there, and trying to meet people who might be receptive to your work. But if you have that kind of ideological break there, it's a good time to be alive because there's so many other options. You don't have to go with Twitter. You can go with somebody else. And the bottom line is, conduct yourself on social media as a professional. Try not to alienate your fans. And again, that's such a weird word. But I also like the word customer. Don't alienate the people who might actually. Customer is probably a better word than consumer. Try not to alienate the folks who are interested in your work and buy your work and put money in your pocket. And if you really do disagree with them, there are ways of handling that are not scorched earth. And I've had to do that over the years. I mean, I don't agree with every person who's read my books, and I don't agree with the people who sometimes have very weird interpretations of some of my work. And I do explain that to them. You can't make everybody happy. If you do, you're doing something wrong, or you're not really doing anything at all. You're just jerking around. Anyways, a couple of video things I wanted to touch bases with before I get out of here. I think I am going to start doing some videos. I'm going to watch Batman the Animated Series. I just picked up the whole set of it. Like I found a used set of it that wasn't even opened. So I got it for cheap. And with Kevin Conroy passing away, and that's still being a thing. There's still social media posts out there about that. He touched so many people's lives. They lit the bat signal up on the Empire State Building in New York for Kevin Conroy. And I think that's amazing. That guy, really touched a lot of people with his work, and that's amazing. And that's a great legacy. It's something to really be proud of. That you made that many people uh, happy, that you touch that many people's lives in a positive way. That's fantastic. So I'm going to rewatch from the beginning the episodes and do little quickie reviews on them. I'm not going to waste a lot of your time on it, but I'm going to have a good time with it because I love those. I watched a lot of them. I started watching them before I became a dad, and then we watched more of them after my son was older and he really got into Batman. Um, he was into Batman and Spider-Man, so we watched a lot of cartoons. And so I'm going to do that. Is going to be one of the things that's going to be coming up on the program, on the video channel thingy mabob, on the YouTubes. I've also got a couple of writing things lined up that I'm excited about. And I'm going to try to get some guests on here in the near future. I was talking to some folks on my Patreon last night about that. And I think that would be a really great thing, is to just have a little conversation with some folks and share it with y'all. And then make it so you guys can ask some questions and I can pass those along to my guests. So thank you for jumping on board. Please share my videos, like them, share them. Click on the thing for a little bell thingy for notifications if you'd like to know when new ones come out. I'm trying to grow the channel, and you guys have been amazing in that. I really appreciate it. All right, well, I'm going to go get ready to check out a paranormal circus, which ought to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to a Renaissance fair on Sunday. Never been to one before, and I'm probably going to be dressed like this. So it's not going to, give me a turkey leg. I go all Henry VIII on it. But guys, I do want you to know how much I appreciate all of you. Let me know what you guys think about social media, what you think about Twitter and Elon Musk and all that stuff. I'm never going to blast you for having an opinion different than mine. I respect that. And I think one of the things that is a dying art is conversation. And you can have an argument and still be friends with someone. That's the way it's supposed to be. You can disagree on points, and a lot of fandom. That's exactly what fandom has been forever. Is you argue over some little bit of minutia. That's because you're both fans and you're both passionate about whatever that is. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care of yourselves and have a fantastic weekend. I will give you stories of paranormal circuses and me at a fucking Ren fair. Take care, guys. Bye.